Well guys, I hope you're having a bright, sunshiny day. Welcome back to another gear review here at Gideon's Tactical, where I'm cranking out gear reviews on the road with my family. I'm coming at you from the lush jungles of Florida, and it's been a blast being here. And recently picked this up. It was kind of an impulse buy off of Amazon. I paid $65 for the Nitecore MH10 version 2. Now, this flashlight, a lot of these brands, they're coming out with like new versions all the time. So this is early 2022. And the reason I picked this up is because I just wanted another flashlight. We haven't done a Nitecore in a while. They've been cranking out great, flashlights for years. I've never really had a Nitecore that I was disappointed with. And this had a lot of features that I liked. Now, having used it, there are a lot of features and aspects to the design, like the 1200 lumens that you get for 65 bucks with an integrated battery. I mean, or not integrated, but that's with battery, all that. I mean, that's a great price point. But there are a few aspects to it that are a little wonky that I was kind of like, eh. So I'm kind of on the fence with it, and I'm gonna share with you what I really like about the design, but there are two aspects that I'm kind of like having a hard time getting over. And so I want to hear from you guys as well in the video as we dive in, for those of you who already own it, what's been your experience, but also what you think about my two kind of hiccups, as well as some of the awesome attributes. So let's go ahead and dive right in, hit the two kind of weird aspects before we get to, all the good that the light has. It really comes down first off to the activation switch. There's only one. It's right here up near the front, no tail switch. For me, that's not a big deal. For many of you, I have come to find that you really want a tail switch. Doesn't have that. It has a great platform for tail standing and using it like a lantern, and it does really well with that. It's very well balanced. It's not like top heavy. That part is great. For me, it's fine. I pull it out, my thumb is right where it needs to be, and I tend to use my flashlights more in this grip than in the reverse grip like this. So maybe law enforcement, it's a little less, if you're in law enforcement, maybe you like the tail switch a little bit more, military. But for me, as just a general user, I actually like the location of it. Now, it's easy to grip, easy to engage. Now, what's really weird, and I don't own another flashlight like this, you tap it, let's see here, and it turns on. Okay, so average, no problem there, totally cool. Now, every other flashlight I own is either like you do a double tap, or you tap and you cycle through your different settings, high, medium, low, turbo, high, medium, low, turbo, right? This does not do that. You have to hold, and then that empowers it to cycle through. So I am holding down the button and it's cycling through. So what ends up happening for me more often than not is I will hit it to turn it on, and then maybe I'm not happy with the setting. I'm like, oh, it's super low. I'm taking my dog for a walk and I want much higher. Then I hit it again thinking I'm going to cycle through, and I'm like, oh, just turned off. What? That's right. So then I go get there, and then I go 1, 2, high. Okay, there we go. And then I'll let go and like use it where I want. And then when it's time to turn it off, then I'll hit it. So it's just this weird kind of like your brain, at least for me, because all of the other flashlights I own do not operate this way. It's kind of this weird relearning every time I go to the flashlight compared to all the other flashlights I own. So it functions and does what it's supposed to in helping you cycle through, but it's just a weird little nuance that I picked up on that if you have multiple flashlights in your rotation that aren't this one, it's kind of this back and forth. If this is like your dedicated flashlight, then it probably won't be a problem, and within a day or two you'll pick up on it and you just get used to it. It's not an issue. And there is a power indication with a blue ring of light around the button, very muted, but it's really complicated and it's kind of tricky to understand. There's like 3 paragraphs in the manual to tell you how it's supposed to work, and like, it's doing this when it does this. Basically, it blinks at certain points in time. I think it blinks when it's on every once in a while. And then as it gets close to depletion, it'll start blinking every 2 seconds, telling you that you're like, hey, it's about to die when you're using it. So, I mean, it's better than nothing, but most of the other flashlights in this kind of design would give me some sort of like, it blinks 3 times to tell you you're full, 2 times, you're half power, and then like 3 blinks or just 1 blink to let you know you only got, a short amount of time left. And this one just seems a little more complicated. It's better than not knowing how much power I have left, but it's weird and wonky and not my favorite way to know how much juice I have left on the battery. The other aspect is this pocket clip. Now, one of the things that made me want it is that it was a deep ride loop over pocket clip. A lot of these size flashlights tend to be, maybe an inch or more sticking out of your pocket, makes it kind of obnoxious and not fun to carry, particularly around town. Well, it definitely is deep ride and loop over, and it's tight on the body, that's all good, but it's really like pretty flexy. and it has this huge gap right there. So I'm gonna have to like crush it and bend it and kind of like tension it down on the body, which I wish it was just riding nice and tight right there. Because what tends to happen if you're wearing like lightweight shorts or, you know, like backpacking pants or something, hiking pants, it just wants to fall out of your pocket. You sit down, I've lost it a couple times on the couch just because there's no tension really on the pocket clip itself. So that's kind of a downer. I'm gonna have to like mod it, crush it, mess with it with pliers to try and get it to do what it's supposed to do. And I have other, you know, Nitecores that have better pocket clips. And I have, you know, like Phoenix and other flashlights in this size range that their pocket clip is just tighter, better tension, not quite as huge on the loop back there, more crushed and slim, whereas this is kind of wide and flared and just kind of too flexy for me. So I'm not impressed with the pocket clip itself. Now it does come with Nitecore's really cool holster. I have this on another Nitecore and it's been holding up for like 2 years and it's great. You could run it through PALS webbing, your belt, and it's really nice and secure in there. And then you pull it out and deploy it and snap it back into place. It even protects the lens a little bit more than just the bezel. And so that aspect is cool. And even though I'm not a huge rave about the pocket clip, it still does enough that if you're just walking around the campground or, you know, doing something like that, it gets the job done. And so now with those things out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on over the tabletop and break down a few more of the attributes that I really enjoy. For instance, this is gonna come with a rechargeable 21700 battery, but has a sleeve adapter that allows you to not only run 18650 batteries, but also CR123 batteries, giving you a tri-fuel capability out of the light. And the fact that I can charge that battery with an exterior USB-C charging port makes recharging this when it dies very easy and simple. And so there's so many options, and this is all with the battery that it comes with, that 21700. If you use other types of batteries, the power and battery life may be reduced some. So just keep that into consideration. And I'm gonna run that in there, and I've used this a bunch, guys, but the main big factors for me is that it has 1200 lumens at just under 4 hours, giving me almost more than 2 football fields worth of distance at 10,200 CDs. That is a big intensity level, but then also a good amount of lumens as well behind it. So you're not getting, you know, a lot of these flashlights, sometimes you'll see like, oh, it has 1000 lumens or something, but then the CDs are very low. And so it feels like it's fading out much sooner than what it has the potential to do. So this has great intensity, great strength behind those 1200 lumens, and a good battery life. It's not gonna like die out on you in 45 minutes of using that intensity. You can go for hours, almost 4 hours. And I've seen that. I've drained the battery down, recharged it, drained the battery down, recharged it. And I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. And then it drops significantly after that to their medium, which is going to be 300 lumens for 8 hours, about a football field's distance, and 2,600 CDs. So that's usually where I use it if I'm walking around campgrounds, working, you know, doing stuff. So that's giving me a really good intensity level with the CDs, to the lumens, to the battery life. And then, you know, I have that 1200 with that 10,000 CDs behind it if I want to. And then, you know, low, ultra low, strobe, beacon, SOS. I mean, it has so many features with really good battery life for each setup, and a lot of capability if you want that huge like bazooka power, but also giving you more realistic usage levels with really, really extensive battery life. And guys, there are a few other aspects, you know, that I can go into, from, again, the tail standing capability to the anti-roll and the traction points. And it's got that recessed bezel, you know, to protect the lens, but also give you a striking point as well. And as you're coming, you know, into this flashlight and you're going, okay, is this really the right flashlight for me? These are the two things that I would say to consider. Is one, again, the price point. The $65, you're getting a lot of capability that usually with most other flashlights from other brands, including even Nitecore, a lot of times you have to pay closer to like $90 to $100 for. So at 65 bucks, you know, you are getting quite a bit of features, quite a bit of capability, in conjunction with kind of making it like a survival flashlight because of the tri-fuel capability. Obviously, some weirdness and wonkiness that we've discussed today, you'll just have to determine if the value and the features outweigh some of the weird features and attributes as well. So I do appreciate you guys coming over today and checking out the video. I invite you to leave a comment if you have any questions. Appreciate you guys so much. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.